Sergeant Maria Santos lay in the crater, her armor's medical systems working overtime to seal the plasma burns across her left side. Above her, the sky flickered with weapons fire as the Valkyrie and human forces traded salvos across the contested zone of planet Tertius 9. She'd been here for 6 hours, playing dead, while enemy patrols swept past. The Valkyrie had left her for dead. Standard doctrine for their species. Why waste resources retrieving bodies when the battle still raged? Their four-legged forms had stepped around her twice, their thermal scanners reading her cooling armor as just another casualty in the meat grinder. They didn't understand human biology. Didn't understand that what registered as near death to their sensors was a human in power save mode, breathing shallow, heart rate controlled, waiting. Through her helmet's cracked visor, Maria watched the Valkyrie command post 200 meters away. Captain Theknor, identifiable by his ornate helmet with its ranking crests, directed troops with sharp, chittering commands. His confidence was absolute. The humans were pinned, their supply lines cut, and their forward position would fall within hours. Maria's armor finally beeped. Medical systems had done what they could. She had maybe 40% mobility, enough ammunition for one magazine, and a combat knife. Against a fortified position with 30 enemy soldiers. The old Maria, the one who'd enlisted fresh from civilian life, would have called for extraction and waited for rescue. But that Maria had died on Proxima Station when the Valkyrie had bombed the civilian shelters, claiming they were military targets. 2,000 colonists, including her sister's family. This Maria had different priorities. She waited until the patrol cycle created a 15-second gap in coverage. Her armor servos screamed in protest as she moved, but she crossed 10 meters of open ground and dropped into a drainage culvert before sensors could acquire her. The Valkyrie engineering was efficient but predictable. They'd built their outpost using standard templates, which meant Maria knew exactly where the blind spots were. 3 minutes of crawling through fetid water brought her to the perimeter. A lone sentry stood above, his thermal rifle scanning the battlefield. Maria's throwing arm still worked. Her knife flew silent and true, and the sentry collapsed without a sound. She took his weapon, his ammunition, and his comlink. The Valkyrie encryption was military grade, but Maria had spent 6 hours listening to their communications. She'd picked up enough of their battle cant to understand tactical commands. Perimeter secure. She clicked into the comlink, mimicking the pitch and rhythm she'd heard. Movement detected, grid 7-4. Requesting additional eyes. She watched through her scope as 4 soldiers redeployed away from the command post, chasing ghosts. The Valkyrie were disciplined, but they trusted their systems. Trusted their doctrine. Trusted that a wounded human would do the rational thing and retreat. Maria had stopped being rational 6 hours ago. She moved through the outpost like a shadow, using their own sensor nets against them. Her damaged armor actually helped. She registered as one of their wounded, below threat priority. 2 guards died without raising alarms. A third managed half a warning before her knife found the gap in his neck armor. Then she was inside the command post, and Captain Theknor turned from his tactical display to find a ghost standing in his headquarters. Impossible, he chittered, his translator rendering the word with appropriate shock. You are dead. Confirmed dead. That's the problem with you, Valkyrie, Maria said, raising the captured rifle. You assume too much about human limitations. The captain was fast, dropping behind cover and triggering the alarm. But Maria had already moved, predicting his reaction. She put 3 rounds through the console he'd hidden behind, not trying to hit him, but destroying the communication hub. As chaos erupted in the compound, Maria dropped a breaching charge at the ammunition storage marker she'd identified from outside. The explosion wouldn't kill everyone, but it would create enough confusion. Theknor emerged from cover, his own weapon raised, but found Maria standing over him, knife pressed against the seal joint of his helmet. "Your life for safe passage," she said quietly. "My terms?" The captain's eyes showed calculation, then resignation. He knew she could have killed him already. "What do you want?" "Your helmet, your command codes, and a 5-minute head start. That will cost me my rank. That's more than you gave the civilians on Proxima." Maria's grip tightened. "This is mercy. Take it." 3 minutes later, Sergeant Maria Santos limped back across no man's land, carrying an ornate Valkyrie captain's helmet and a data chip containing command encryption keys. Behind her, the enemy outpost burned from its own ammunition cooking off. When she reached human lines, the lieutenant rushed forward in disbelief. "Santos! We thought—" "I was left for dead," Maria interrupted, dropping the helmet at his feet. "Turns out I had unfinished business." The Valkyrie learned something that day. Humans don't die conveniently. They don't follow expected patterns. And when you leave one wounded in no man's land, you'd better make absolutely certain they're not coming back. Because if they do return, they won't be empty-handed.